Well, that's what they have. Good. Absolutely. All right.
So how many more days, David?
86.
See, how many years for you?
We 40 KSCs coming in.
You started in 81?
I think over the games where they moved in 81, and then from 82 on, it's been maintained.
All pretty good years, except for about 5 or 6, really.
Been more good years than bad, that's for sure.
We were terrible my sophomore year because we were all sophomores. I think we went 2-8. But we were all sophomores. That's the only bad year we had. And then I was gone in the 0-10 years, 2000, 2001, or whenever it was.
Yeah. Yeah, we're in 2009.
How you doing? Good, and you?
Good.
I think we should do these workshops first. I think that'd be awesome.
This is the same thing that's in there.
Okay. Thank you, Hannah. Look at it. I've been taking hand off this. Yeah. I get his attention. Yeah. That's my accident. I got through it. It was weird when I was real bad. Before they had your background stuff. Well, the doctor said I can't do it. How about growing a lot of mine? And then once I broke my leg, it was like 01. I had 7 surgeries, 10 months, and then running the feet down and putting me to sleep, you know, came back. And I asked him, I think he's come back. And this is a problem. But now, I don't know if ever, but I got one of the deals. Now. Yeah. I used to have a deal called Ally's Again. Yeah. That was good, and they took it off the market because they said it was to the environment. Yeah. And it worked. I don't have it near like I did when I was a kid. Normally if I get a couple hours or so, me too. My head, it looks like I got a head chili bone on top. So you got a bunch of hair on top. Well, at least you got a bunch of hair on top. All right, it's good and all this. Yeah, no, I'm fine with that. That works good. I have, I don't use it. But when you get you in church, about 100 of them. Every time I wear this shirt, I get criticized on Facebook comment there. You know what? Today's the day. Yep. Two times. I got on Facebook. I didn't recognize. So I had to. You know what? I'm gonna be sneaking today. Sure. When did you start all doing? Sure. We can be in my. They had. It's gonna be like.
All right, it is 9 o'clock. Would you please stand for our invocation? And then followed by the pledges. Dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you today for your grace and mercy to us. We thank you for all your provision. We thank you for this county that we live in. We thank you for the rain that you provided us yesterday and the coming week. And Father, we just thank you for all that you do for us. Father, please give us wisdom and guidance in the decisions and the conversations that we have today in our commission court meeting. It's in your son's precious name that we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge the American flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. You may be seated. Call this meeting to order, and we have a quorum. Commissioner Curtis will be with us shortly. Are there any, would you please silence your cell phones for those of you that have cell phones with you? Are there any general announcements?
I have a general announcement.
Second,
Third,
I seconded your.
good morning, morning reports. I have a presentation this morning. I would like to award a 5-year certificate to my HR coordinator, Miss Emily Vedinger. She has done an outstanding job. Let's see, about 5 years, well, starting her 5th year. So I saw her in a store one day. I had worked with her previously. And she was asking how I liked the county, and I told her all these wonderful things about the county, and she was a full-time employee with full benefits. And she said, I think I need to do something different for my family. And I said, come see me. I had a part-time opening, 20 hours a week. The only benefit was retirement contribution. She came and saw me. I told her what I had. We talked about it, she said, I don't have any experience. I said, you don't have to have the experience, I will teach you. I just need you to be able to be here and learn and grow every day. And here she is at 5 years. She got promoted, she's made it full-time, then she's made it to the next level. And I'm very proud of her. I'm very proud of what she's gonna be here with Vincent County in her future. And I just want everybody to know that she is a great asset to Vincent County. And I think. Here, she gets a 5-year pin. And this wonderful little certificate.
Student, yeah. One more. Thank you.
And she gets to put up with me every day. Thank y'all.
Does she get to pay for that? Judge, I have an announcement also, a description, you'll come forward. Well, good morning, everyone. It is indeed an honor and a privilege to be with you today to recognize Mrs. Stella Grisham. She is the official court reporter of the 294th District Court, and she's been that for 20 years. 20 years. Here. Who says here? Don't forget all my other combat experience in other counties. Here's enough. Trust me, here's enough. And so I met Stella in 2007 when I was an assistant criminal district attorney here in Van Zandt County. And from day one that I met her, she helped me as an assistant DA. First day on the job, in the courtroom, she immediately, because she has a very kind and warm heart, she's about helping others. And so she helped me through so many challenges and difficulties during that time. And then when I took the bench in 2019, day one, she's also continued to help me in every respect. I can look over to my left and I have this stable person who I know has seen so much more than I have. And I can say, "Oh, Stella, do you think I did that right?" And she'd be like, "Okay, do we know how to fix it?" And so there were so many things I didn't know when I got on the bench, and I was thankful to have my own AI right here next to me. I could just prompt her and she would give me the information that I needed. But I'm so proud of her and I'm so thankful for her. She's a remarkable woman. She put herself through court reporting school as a single mother with 4 boys. And that is just.
So I can do it, anybody can do it.
You can tell she's very self-deprecating also. To that end, because she says things like that, our treasurer, Honorable Kenny Edwards, has on multiple times told her that he could do her job with one hand tied behind his back. And so that did result in a face-off, a typing contest one time down in the break room. And it wasn't close. It's fun, but it wasn't close. And so I just want to commend her today and celebrate her. I'm so thankful. She's a blessing to me. She's a blessing to the attorneys and the parties that she gets to work with and that get to work with her. And more so than her being my court reporter, I don't think of her as an employee. I think of her as my friend. So just join with me in congratulating Estella.
Like, get my skinny side.
Yeah, not too damn. Not too. Thank you, Joe. Thank you for me. Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, any other announcements? If not, it's been requested that we go directly to the workshop item number 14. Due to the fact of the people that are in the courtroom. And that is discuss the creation of County Assistance District number 14. So we're gonna go to that first.
Yeah, I put this on here, Judge. So the intent here is to educate and let every one of y'all know what this is and how can it affect the county. This is called the County Assistant District tax. So don't get afraid by the word tax. In the unincorporated areas of the county, there's supposed to be a 6.25% tax. In the incorporated areas, the cities, the sales tax we pay is 8.25%. So this is not going to affect the cities. This just happens to be with anything outside of an incorporated area. We have talked, and at first this kind of started off with me and Virgil, and then me and Cliff got on board, and so I appreciate Cliff helping me with this, and also a big thank you to Keegan, because everything that we've asked for, she's given us all this information. So we've been trying to find out how to get revenue into the county without raising property taxes. And this is a way that we can do it. In 2025, if we would have had this county assistant district tax, it would have brought in $3.7 million to the county without raising your property taxes. That's probably about 18% of the total budget. And the way this works is we did a study by going to different businesses around the unincorporated areas, and I have some receipts on it. And we found out that about 70% of the businesses are already charging 8.25%. So we're already paying this, but the state is getting the money. We're not getting the money. But we want to make it to where everyone is paying 8.25%. And this way, not only the way it works now, all the money that's coming to the county right now is basically through Van Zandt County residents. We are funding the whole county government, just our residents. This will be everyone that comes through these towns, all these visitors on First Monday. Now they will be helping the county financially. This can only be done. This money can only be used for three things: roads, first responders, and public infrastructure. Now I know public infrastructure is a big bubble. But that's the only three things that can be used on. And in 10 years, the percent that this has increased in 10 years is 110% increase. From 2015 to 2025, there's 110% increase in monies that were taken from this if we would have done this. So this is only going to grow. It's going to get bigger every year, which means more money from the county every year, which means hopefully it can relieve property taxes, which is, I think, a big goal of this. The way, and I've had a lot of questions about it because I have had some meetings over this. Well, how much are we going to get? How much is my fire department going to get? What are we going to get? I can't answer that question. There will be no answer to that. And I'll let the commissioners talk on this, but I'll give you my opinion. If this gets passed, I think we should have a board of 5 civilians, public citizens, and they can kind of discuss how to allocate the funds, because I can promise you, we get up here and we'd probably fight and never get anything done. Because we wouldn't agree how someone wanted to go to 100% roads, somebody wanted to go 90% roads, 10% fire. We would never agree. So if we get a board together of civilians that can negotiate and cooperate how this money is going to be allocated, comes to the court. If we agree, we do it. If we disagree, take it back to the board and keep on working until we get something figured out. But I think before people start asking, well, how much is in it for me? How much is in it for me? I think we need to look at the big picture here, that this is almost $4 million right now that can come into this county through sales tax. That's not going to affect our property taxes, and that visitors will also be paying for it. And I think it's I think it's a great way to increase our revenue, because we all know that, everything's about money and everybody's short of it. And so this is a revenue stream that we have found that we've been working on for 3 years, and I'm finally glad that I can talk about it. Because we got most everything answered. We won't have everything answered. But it's finally come to fruition and we've done all our work on it. And the main thing is that we're gonna have to educate the public on this. Because if it goes to a ballot, it's gonna say this is a tax increase. But like I said earlier, 70% of the businesses are already charging it. We're paying it now. So technically, it is a tax increase, but realistically, it's really not. And we will have to educate this whole county to get this passed, because when they see that, they're not educated, it's an automatic no, and we all know that. So that's what this workshop is about. If y'all have any questions, I mean, I don't know if we can answer it all, but I think we can answer most of them if y'all have any. But that's the revenue stream that we've come up with to try to help the county. So
I'd like to
that's
add,
my spiel, and I'll let.
I'd like to add also that the cap on the county's revenue can only increase 3.5%, right? If the tax that is collected through the sales tax would cause us to increase more than 3.5%, then your ad valorem tax on your houses it must go down. It must go down because the county is limited in how much it can raise. And if our raise on the sales tax would cause us to go above 3.5%, the county assistance district, we don't go out there to these individual businesses and tell them you can't continue to collect this 2%. This 2% that you're collecting. So what has to happen is your ad valorem rates, or the amount that is collected by the county on your property, it has to go down. So it is a tightrope, and we can't. So a commissioner's court couldn't raise your tax rate and increase the amount that we receive 3.5%, and then you add on the sales tax. Can't do that based on the state law. Also, this commissioner's court, the people that are elected, at some point during this process, can't continue to talk about this from our positions. So if this is put on the ballot for November of this year, at the point, at a particular point, this commissioner's court, like in a forum of this nature, won't be able to publicly talk about it. It'll be up to the folks that are in the communities, the ESDs, the folks that are out there. They can continue to talk about it, but at that point, it would be illegal for the commissioner's court to talk about this. So it is a way to reduce your property taxes. It is a way that the county can continue to expand services without burdening folks that are seeing these property taxes continually increase. And perhaps if we have folks that have signed up to speak on this, is this an adequate time to allow them the opportunity?
I said they didn't have to sign up since the workshop was.
Okay.
And one thing that I didn't say in mine is there are approximately 1,100 businesses that are in the unincorporated areas in the county. So, and that has increased over 10 years. It's only increased by 200 businesses. It's increased in 10 years, but the revenue has increased 110%.
Michelle, did you?
Those businesses are already paying the 8%, 8.25%, you know.
Out of the 1,100, we don't know, but we did a little survey, just going to random businesses, and out of that, 70% were charging it. I would assume the state's getting it, but I don't know where it's going.
After
This county assisted district tax has to pass, and then we will get it.
But that won't be, if it passes, we don't get to go back and collect what they've already collected.
Yeah, no,
It's gone.
yeah.
So it'll just be from that point forward. Is that what you was asking?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So if it say it passes, does that 2% goes to the state, gives it to us, or does it come directly to us?
It goes to the state. The vendors pay the state. And any sales tax that the vendors collect is then paid to the state. And then the state turns around and sends it to us.
I think that's how it works in the cities now too. It goes to the
Right.
state and back to the city.
Ernie?
Well, my question is, so that would raise 3.7 million, but maybe closer to 4 million once we get.
$3.709 million in 2025.
Okay, so your total budget right now is what?
Around 2021.
21. So that would be 25% of your budget.
About 18.
18. Okay, so you can't raise the taxes more than 3.5. Is that what you said?
Yes, sir.
So would that lower our taxes efficiently, maybe 14 to 15%? I'm just asking.
I mean, it's a mathematical equation.
Yes, I understand, but I mean, essentially, it probably would lower our taxes at least 10.
The increase is based on the prior year, right? So
Yeah.
this year, we're limited 3.5% based on the collected revenues of last year. So every year, that's a moving target.
Yes, so I guess my statement is, of course, I have a couple. One is, and I want to thank you guys for bringing up the tough stuff, because it is hard to bring up tax and. But if that would lower, just for the people, if that lowers our taxes 10%. And we have now, instead of just the people in the county paying for it, it's people driving through. It's kind of like Van, Texas, we get a lot of our taxes from people driving through. And so that's really gonna help us, because you got people driving through and they're spending their money. We have other people paying for our stuff. Is basically what that would come to, and I don't see that as really too bad of a thing. Now, my only thing is, one of my firemen, he texted me and said, hey, I want to be there, I can't be there. And I know you guys have said, hey, we'd like to get the badge of the fire departments. Well, I think they do kind of want to see a percentage of, now this is not coming from a person, this is coming from, the guys. They want to see an actual percentage of what's going to the fire department as a whole, not their fire departments in general. And then split up probably evenly, but
Once again, that's like Cliff said, it's a moving target. And every year could be different. And that's why, I think we have a board.
so you're gonna have that board afterwards?
That is my opinion. I have not talked to the court about this.
No,
There's not
in your
really-
opinion, would you have the board after it's passed, or just while you're trying to get it passed?
Well, you have to have it after it passed, because if
I mean, I
it
would
passed,
think
it ain't board.
I would think that, in theory, you could have the board beforehand, and if it doesn't pass, the board dissolves, if that's the will of the folks.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
But to me, it's almost a no-brainer, because we can lower our property tax. And let somebody else pay for it. I don't know why we wouldn't do that. But I would like to know where the other two commissioners stand on that.
I think it's a great deal, and I agree with you on the other people. I always wanted to own something, somebody else would pay for it. I like that theory myself, and that's
Right.
kind of what I see here. To a percentage of it that the people passing through, if they buy in the county, it will help us.
Yes, Mitch, where do you stand on it?
I'm not sure I have a real good grasp of it yet. I understand the 3.5%, so we can't go up more than 3.5% on new income, right?
Right?
So we can't raise our taxes,
Yeah, we're the same, it's with the city. man.
right? So we can't raise our taxes if that money comes in from somebody else, but we're gonna disperse it through the county. So basically, the commissioner's court will be saying, am I understanding this right? We're not gonna have any new revenue from it. We're gonna lower y'all's taxes and disperse money to outside of,
Well, you'll have a 3.5% probably. Right. Of new income.
not if that goes into it. that 3.5% can't be high. We can't, with that added, right? Am I correct on that?
Well, I mean, you guys are both saying the same thing. You're just saying it from different directions. The total income of the county can't increase more than 3.5%. If the sales tax causes our effective rate to exceed that 3.5%, then we have to lower the rate.
What is 3.5% of 23 million?
Hey, Mitch, hold on. Like, Keith,
You got two options. You can offset property taxes. And shift where the cost comes from, shift it to the tourists that comes by. Or you can use it as supplemental, get ahead. Two options.
what do you mean by using a supplemental and get ahead?
Oh,
It doesn't go to your property tax, it's not property tax, it doesn't go to the general fund, it cannot commingle with general fund.
Basically held until next year so that you have the opportunity to reduce your property taxes next year to compensate for the amount. And, you know, because let's say that, and that we have a great year and we raise 5%, is what comes in the sales tax. And you've only accounted for 3.5%. Well, that 1.5% goes into an escrow account, so to speak, that's applied to next year. And so next year you have to really reduce property taxes so that you can take that money out of that escrow and put it back into your general budget.
You're either gonna reduce that year.
Or reduce it in the future. Right.
Okay, I just wanna make sure I understand.
That's, I mean, we're in the process of figuring out how the technicals of how all this works. And right now, that's what the understanding is. So it goes to an escrow and it offsets next year.
Did I understand you right, Cliff, that if this gets voted in November, then it would be the following November, actually, before, if any taxes was reduced, that it would happen.
Yeah,
It wouldn't happen the day it was voted in.
That's right. That's right.
So we're looking at from the day it's voted in a year. Yeah.
Yeah.
so we're having a workshop, right? And there's been a lot of thought put into this, and we're asking questions. Is that correct?
That's
Say
correct.
anything.
Yes.
Yeah, we're asking, you're
It's like
the
a
one that
public
brought it,
forum.
and you just asked her, and you just heard something new, right? We're not voting on anything today?
No.
Okay.
Roads, first responders, public infrastructure. There's also, we talked like Fort Bend County, some other counties around that are bigger than us. And they have like recreational parks and, they're bigger communities than we are. It can go to that, but we don't have any of that. So as far as our county, roads, first responders, and infrastructure. However, ESDs will not be included in this because they are a taxing entity. So if a fire department's on an ESD, they're not included. Make sure I said that correctly, right?
We couldn't give them money from it unless it was like a call by call contract.
Okay.
Because it's its own tax in the state. Now, it would bleed over into their territory unless, y'all agreed to carve them out or into a different agreement.
When I say first responders, that is your volunteer fire departments, not your city of Canton fire departments. Not if they are funded by a government entity, they cannot receive this, but they're volunteer, and then of course the sheriff's department, since they're part of the county, they can.
So, but in the last handful of years, didn't one of those ESDs try to get this tax?
Yes, and that's why I said it's very important that we understand what this is. And if you're for it, we have to educate the people because in my opinion, they just see the word tax and it's an automatic no.
Well, obviously, they're kind of getting,
Well, they can carve themselves out if they want, but it's a huge gamble.
what do you mean exactly?
So if you have an ESD and they say, well, we want to go for this sales tax too, we can carve them out. And if they want to go for their own sales tax, they can.
Explain carve out.
Carve out their boundaries.
Take
Their
them out,
lines.
take that ESD out of
And
this.
say they want to do their own. If it fails, they're getting zero revenue because they're not going to get ours. And if it passes, they do get it. So it's a gamble if they want to do that. But if they don't, then this is my opinion, and I want to help out the roads, the volunteer fire departments. I mean, I'm going to try to spread the wealth. So it's a gamble they'll take if they want to carve it out.
Commission board, has that been selected?
No,
And how will you all make that decision?
we hadn't got that far yet. I'm just trying to just get the big picture, how this will be good for the county. It's more revenue without raising your property taxes. So I'm just trying to get the big picture out now and then get the details once the big picture is out there. So I don't have an answer for that. And that would be up to I guess us five, how we would get the work.
So, but also, when you say if an ESD wants to carve it out, they have to do that before we pass it, correct?
Yeah, they gotta get their GIS.
If we already have it in our CAD or, CAD, is in our CAD, then they don't have the option in the future.
I think if I may be wrong, but I think they have to do it, let us know, or we do it before we even put it on the ballot,
Right, Keegan?
because it has to be separate.
We have to work, because if they go to a ballot, we go to a ballot and theirs passes, even if ours pass, they just negated our entire election. We gotta communicate.
And we can vote on this, and this is another thing we haven't decided yet. We can vote on this as a whole county, or we can vote on it by precinct. And say precinct 4 passes and say the other 3 fail. Well, I'll get the sales tax for precinct 4. They won't get anything. So we can do this by precinct or county, either or.
And I have a question there on that. You're saying you can do it by precinct, like you said. Then how are you gonna lower the tax? You're gonna lower the taxes for one precinct, but not just for all of them? And how could that be?
It may be, but
Yeah.
I would say that was a possibility, and that's because we need these people to know what it's about. So that they know what they're voting on,
Yeah, I'm just saying that would be a nightmare.
Because-
One precinct.
oh yeah,
passed,
it
the
will
other
be,
didn't.
but if
Then
that,
we gotta figure out the property taxes of how you're gonna lower this one, but not that one, and
Yeah.
that would be a total mess. And then another question I have back to you, you say you're gonna give it to the fire departments that aren't funded by an entity. So Van is a volunteer fire department, but it is funded by the city. But most of our calls are outside the city. So would Van, would they be, the fire department be included in that income, the money that you're gonna give to the fire department, or would Van be excluded?
Those are legal questions that we have to get into the formation and the funding and determine whether or not the funding exempts them from the state law.
Right, I'm just.
Or
but I'm
not.
asking that so you can figure that out.
Thank you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
That would make a difference. So the majority of our firemen live outside the city.
And this is why we have the workshop, is because
Yes.
we have to figure out what the question, and then come up with the
Yeah.
solutions.
Yes, but I didn't even have that question until I got here, you know what I mean?
There are places in Fort Bend County that the county assistance district, it runs down a road. It's just down this one road, and it goes over so many, 100 feet on this side,
Yeah.
each side of the road, and that's all it is. So the state, the taxing districts, they're familiar with how these things work. We just haven't ever had one here in Van Zandt County.
So have all of you guys known about this, for a while?
Well, we've started over the last year really digging into whether or not this is an opportunity,
Yeah.
but I mean, it's known because the ESDs, both 2 ESDs in the prior election, the general election, tried to get it passed and it didn't pass.
Yeah, no, I'm not
So
saying I'm opposed to this.
no, I'm just saying it is something that we have had our eyes on, and ESDs have had their eyes on it, and they tried to pass it.
Look at this since I worked with the commissioner's office.
Yeah.
Virgil and I worked on it, tried to get it kind of coordinated and everything, but could not get everybody on board. In other words, commissioners to sit down and listen. And so Keegan kind of reached out, so she's gone back and forth.
There was a time that we thought that it wouldn't go against the 3.5%. That it was just gonna be income, like to write
Yeah,
a budget.
right.
There was a time that we thought that. And then we kind of got a little deflated. And then I thought, my first thought after we found out was that it would still be better for y'all, the taxpayer.
Yeah.
Like if we could find a way to lower their taxes. But the court continually says, and it's been this way as long as I can remember, I'm not just talking about this court. On election years, we say we've lowered taxes. We lower taxes. But we have to lower taxes sometimes
Yeah.
because of new income comes in, new growth. So it offsets that 3.5%. So a lot of times we have to, by law, lower our tax rate to offset the 3.5, going over the 3.5%. Now, if we bring this new income in, y'all possibly could get a tax break.
Right.
Because we won't be able, it may go against 3.5%, right? Is it possible that we could lower our, basically our budget become lower than what it was? Is that possible?
I've said this 100 times. I never make any promises, but
That's not
with more
possible.
money coming in,
It's not possible. that it
the
lowers
goal
budget,
is
that it
either
lowers the budget.
to keep your property taxes where they're at, or they could be lowered. I mean, we're trying to keep it, we're trying to minimize them as much as we can by bringing in revenue that's not property taxes.
So, and I want folks to.
And
Go ahead.
I hope, and those are good questions, what you asked, that I don't know an answer for, like Cliff said, their legality, but I just hope we still see the forest through the trees, the big picture
Yeah.
of how this is good for the county. And then there are questions that we don't know that are detailed questions, but the big picture, I just want everybody to know that it's a good thing.
Well, I wanted to bring out one thing that I think is important is that it's a little different than what you were saying just a minute ago. When a new business comes into the county and a land use changes from, say, agricultural to residence or agriculture to commercial, that is considered new revenue that doesn't impact your 3.5%. So let's say that we had General Motors just decided they were going to build a manufacturing plant in Grand Saline. And that land use last year was taxed at $100. But we know that after that plant gets built, that's going to be taxed at $10 million, $20 million, whatever it is. That first year is new revenue and it's not applied toward your 3.5%. So we wouldn't be in a position where we would reduce everybody's taxes on their house to zero because that first year is considered new revenue and it doesn't impact your 3.5%. So next year, that is figured into your 3.5%. So new revenue happens every year, and every year it's as much as $1.5 million of change in land use that will cause your revenue to increase. It's not considered against your 3.5%. So there are a lot of moving parts here, and it's not easily visualized. If you put it on paper and you say, this is your number, this is the 3.5%, but here we have 5% increase because land use changed last year on several pieces of property. Well, that's thrown out. That's not considered for this year's budget to get you under the 3.5% cap. So
Well, it's considered for the next year's budget.
that's right.
And the problem with that is, and that's what I was gonna mention, I'm glad you brought that up, the problem with that is, but like the cities. So if we have a new business, or we have a housing development. Now we've got to provide water, we've got to provide sewage, but we still gotta keep our taxes the following year. We can't get there so if they raise our tax evaluation up more than 3.5% or whatever. We've got to lower that, even though we still gotta provide the services, and the state has done these to us. And this is something that the state is really hurting the small communities like that in small counties, because with them doing that, then you still gotta provide all those services. And so when you're still providing services, but you can't really take their money, because it raises only to a certain extent, because it raises the land value above that 3.5%. So really, we need to talk to our legislators to say, hey, dummies, we got to provide them services.
And you know, this last year, they were
That's
trying
what
to
does.
lower it from 3.5 to 2.5.
Right.
They're not our friend.
So-
Not our friend.
So you're,
Well,
but who doesn't,
Who
who doesn't, I mean, we haven't raised ours 3.5%, you know, in some time. We haven't reached the cap, in several budget cycles, if that.
So
memory serves.
if our budget is 24 million, then 3.5% of that's gonna be about 840,000. So last year, our new growth was somewhere around 800,000, right? So basically,
800 to a million.
yeah, so basically, we have to offset that the next year and come down.
Which does not make sense. You gotta.
Because we can't do more than 3.5%. We still get it a year from them, but you understand what I'm saying? We can't.
But your 3.5% is figured on your total revenue
Right, I
collected. So you don't have to offset it the next year. You're just limited in that 3.5%. So what we've done over the last two cycles in not raising the tax rate, the 3.5%, is that now the 3.5% is not figured on that higher number. And I know this is probably ethereal math and may not be exactly clear, but the county assistance district will be a substantive assistance for homeowners in the county.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Y'all have talked about businesses in the county, but what about online sales?
That includes that Amazon, so what else is on? I don't know anything else besides Amazon. That counts.
And some of those businesses don't have the software to differentiate whether you live in a rural area. Like I live out of Old Bell. I have a Canton address. I checked my bride's Amazon receipts. And some of them are taxed at 6.25, and some of them are taxed at 8.25.
I guess that's something you have to get with the comptroller on.
It's
But-
based on the delivery address.
Yeah.
Well,
That's what he said.
but I'm saying,
Some of
they
his,
don't, the businesses don't have, it takes a special software to be
That's
able
right.
to figure out whether I'm in a city limits or out in the county. So the state's getting that 2%. And they've been operating on me instead of us.
Continue to do so, if they don't have the ability to differentiate. where you
Well,
are.
they do.
they said that's our responsibility.
Yeah, I'm sure there's gonna be little, just like what you just said, there's gonna be mistakes made when it comes to stuff like that. But to answer your question, I'm trying to think of somebody besides Amazon that can't. Your electric bill, I think that's included. Amazon, I mean, everything that we pay for that has a sales tax is counted. And yeah, Amazon's pretty big. It'd be a lot of money. But like I said, 100, that's probably why you have 110% increase in 10 years. It's probably because of that. Online. Because the business, because you only increase your businesses by 200, but yes, you increase your money by 110%. I mean, the numbers don't add up there until you get the online business. That's on this. I know we shouldn't we're getting into details in this tax, but you said that the money can stay away from the general fund. So does it affect the 3.5%?
You have two options. You can affect 3.5%. You can offset property taxes. And one day, you can do away with property taxes and strictly operate on cash.
So
Or you can use it to supplement.
So we could hypothetically take the $3.7 million, put it into this fund. And we're like, well, we got this $4 million. So now we can lower this. Or if you put it into it, it automatically triggers to lower it. So the smart thing to do would be to, in my opinion, we put it over here, and then you adjust the tax rate accordingly, but you're not touching the money that actually came from the cab.
It's not gonna, you don't pay your property taxes every month. you pay your property taxes, or your mortgage company pays those property taxes by January. It's due January 1, yeah, it's late, January 30, February 1. So it won't adjust somebody's ad valorem tax or rate until it's reassessed. So the assessment continues on to go up and go down, based on what the folks do at the assessor's office. Our taxes, the tax rate that we set is good for the year, goes into the escrow, and then you have to be a math magician at the end of that year to figure out how that money can be put into your budget. Do you lower the ad valorem rate for the following year, or what do you do in order to make it so that you don't exceed the 3.5%? Because we don't want the Attorney General's office coming in here and doing, what they've done to so many of the cities that tried to raise the rates. Yeah. Yes.
My question was, if this was to pass, would there be a set percentage going to the three entities? Say sheriff's department, fire departments, or would that be decided yearly by the board?
In my opinion, it'd be by the board.
So there's no guarantee.
Yeah, I guess you could say there's no guarantee. The money's gonna have to, that's what the board would go over it, and if commissioners courts agrees, it passes. If it doesn't, go back and figure it out. But like in your instance, the fire department's instance, say Edom doesn't need anything, or they need $1,000 for a water hose or whatever, but y'all's equipment went out and you're outdated on your equipment, it costs $10,000. Well, if we could, the board would know, it's like, well, Ben Wheeler needs help with this. So they would get more money than Edom. Then it might be vice versa the next year. So to ask a percentage, I don't think
talking
it'd
about
be an answer.
He's asking for is there gonna be a specific percentage?
I don't think so.
Like
If it was me, it
set
would be.
percentage per department,
Yeah.
whatnot.
And what if we have a catastrophe and all our roads are tore up from the trees? I think it's a year by year basis, and I don't. My opinion would not be percent. It'd be year by year basis, and look at what we're facing. But that's my opinion.
Good.
That's why we're gonna have a board for, because we sit up here and fight all day.
You guys have been working on this for a year,
3 years.
3 years total. Do you have a list of counties that you dealt with who are effectively doing that?
Yep.
In those counties, is it a citizen ran board or the commissioners on that?
I don't know how Keegan may know the answer to that. I don't know. Those like Fort Bend and all those other counties we talked to, do they have a board, or is it just commissioner's court?
I haven't got that far into detail, but on the state comptroller's website, it has the special districts of who all does have a CAD in place, who all has an ESD in place, hospital districts, all that kind of good stuff. And I just kind of went down the line of phone a friend on that list. And you can do the same thing and say, do you have a board, or does your commissioner's board do it? Like Fort Bend has 26 CADs.
And the money has to be spent in the CAD.
Yeah.
So and that goes back to what Brandon was saying, if precinct 4 decides they want it, then the rest of the precincts don't have the opportunity to participate.
Also be curious to know what the level of difficulty has been for that board to receive the money from the state. What does that look like?
I don't think that's gonna be difficult at all, because the city's doing it now. You just go through the comptroller, and it's all a process, and I can't get into it. It's a bunch of details, but it's not hard.
We get one every month.
Yeah, you submit paperwork to the comptroller's office, they submit the funds to the treasurer's office.
Somebody's tracking that for you. Or the tax.
Every CAD that has been implemented has not gone back. Every county that has a CAD, they love it, they don't go back.
And I will say, we talked about the state earlier. The state's not our friend. And I've heard things that, the state's trying to make it to where the counties can't do this anymore.
That's correct.
So we're on a time crunch. If it doesn't pass this time, we may never get the opportunity again.
I do.
And you're looking at $4 million now. What are we going to be looking at in 2040? It may be 10 million.
Now, if they do get rid of that, are we gonna be grandfathered in and some?
Yes, it'd be grandfathered in, because we've got it.
If you've
But
already.
if we have it, but if we don't have it, there may be a chance that we will never have this opportunity again. And we had the opportunity in the 1980s to do this. And it's kicking ourselves in the butt right now. And now we got another chance, and I don't think we need to pass it up.
But at what point, when you said that, at some point, the elected officials can't speak about this from the commissioners board, does that happen? I don't, you guys vote on it, or?
One of the things that the commissioners board is not allowed to do, because it becomes illegal, is that you're not allowed to lobby for the passing of taxes. It becomes illegal. All the board is allowed to do, what the commissioner's court is allowed to do is educate. That's all they're allowed to do. Afterwards, it becomes illegal. That's all we're allowed to do.
So it says the ones that get on a ballot, is that what triggers that? What-
Yeah.
Okay.
Right now, we need to be using the microphone more than anything.
We have to educate the public. If you're for this, because like I said, it's gonna say this is a tax increase, which is technically true. But we're paying it in 70% of the places now. Education is the key.
But the people who live in the municipalities don't have the opportunity to vote on it.
Yes, it'd just be unincorporated people, people living outside the cities that will vote.
Well, I, for one, appreciate what y'all are doing. I'm tired of renting a property I paid for, and this is an effort to reduce that burden. The state is trying to do away with property tax, trying to address it, but this is an effort, and I appreciate it. You gotta ask yourselves, why does the state of Texas have such a huge
Surplus.
where does that money come from?
2% from the county,
A lot of counties.
a lot of counties.
What do you think the odds are that the ESDs are gonna try to take their stab at it?
I don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't take the gamble, because if it passes, you're guaranteed some money. If it doesn't, they're taking a gamble on losing everything. And, I've told some fire departments this too. I was like, if it's only $1,000 a year, it's $1,000 more than you had. Something's better than nothing, even though I can't promise anything, but it's going to help no matter what.
So you talk about, you get the general, perception that they're for this or they're.
The ones that I've talked to are for it. And I don't know about precinct 1. I've heard different stories over there, how they want to carve themselves out, but I haven't heard it from the horse's mouth.
Well, as a volunteer department, we'd all be for more help. Like they.
Yeah,
But a guarantee would be a little more help. Some sort of set. We know we can depend on some funds. Because y'all know what we get from the county every month, everything else we do fundraising.
I think the only promise that we can make is this is gonna try to help you. And that's all I can give you.
Do you think we should work out those percentages? Like, do you think we should work those out
I think it would be a good thing to have something set in stone.
before we have asked people to vote on it? Do you think they should know what they're voting on, the details of it? Don't you think that should be done?
So then what do you do though if this year, you just say you set theirs at 3%. And then this year, it drops from 3.7 million to 2 million.
You're setting yourself in a trap if you do this per percent. You're setting yourself in a trap.
Well, do we want to put all volunteer firemen on the board?
Well, no.
I don't think.
I think you put, I would say you probably put a volunteer fireman on the board, and you probably put a law enforcement on the board, and you probably put 3 Orville citizens. That way you got a fire department fighting with this guy, They'll have to fight and
So
come to
What do you think,
agreement.
Jeremy? Do you think it should be, we should work those equations out before we put it up for a vote?
I can tell you.
I was asking Jeremy.
Put it up on a vote for November. You gotta do something by August. I don't have the exact date, but I mean, it's gonna be pretty fast.
First
So
August.
the word needs to get out, education needs to be put out there.
Can I ask Mr. Barker what he thinks about
So
that?
in my opinion, as a voter, as a taxpayer, I understand what the board's stance is on things change, but I think as a voter, I would like to see a proposed plan and understanding that, you know, things could change and I see heads not. Yes, I'm fortunate, I do have an ESD where I'm at. But I've come from those volunteer departments, I've stood out, I've held the booth, I get what it takes to run these things. And I'm gonna say this, that if we're gonna educate the public and say that this thing's gonna support the departments, then it better do that.
Okay, but remember this too, and.
Yeah, I was asked for my opinion, so.
We're already paying this tax, it's going to the state. We're not getting any of it. That's where it's at.
I understand.
And then the commissioners and the board or whatever, you know, they can look at, you know, if they do guaranteed percentages, I don't know that they can do that. So that's something we definitely need to look at, but remember, bottom line is paying,
And
we're just not getting.
as a voter, because I can vote on this. And I may be an oddball, I don't know, but I'm not gonna sit there and say, well, they didn't tell us what percent's gonna go here, so I'm not voting for it. I mean, it's $4 million more. It's not, everybody's grappling about property taxes and we got a plan here. But we're gonna get, folks, I'm not gonna vote for it.
So let me ask you this. So basically, it will lower property taxes.
I did not say that. I did not say that. I didn't promise anything. I
And
said,
it,
well,
and it will not affect our bottom line at all. It'll only increase it.
It'll only increase it.
Well, could you not put in the ballot language to approve this? That a percentage, what percent would go to the roads and what percent would go to the.
I think you put yourself in a trap. But I'm one person.
But
up here.
that's the voters who's got, knows that that's being done. If you leave it up to a board, then the board can change it any time and the voters don't have any assurance that it's gonna go for what they thought and you've been told it's gonna go to.
Well, things change. I mean, everything is different year by year. Needs are different year by year for everyone. I don't think you put yourself in a trap.
Can I ask how you believe it's a trap? If the money doesn't matter, percentage rate is set, right? So it doesn't matter how much money we collect due to tax revenue comes off the sales tax coming back from the state. That number doesn't matter so long as there's a set in stone percentage of whatever that funding is that goes back to this department. That's not, how do you see that as a trap? I'm confused.
Okay, so what if let's say something catastrophic happens at the sheriff's department. They're gonna need more money. Well, they're gonna need 20%. Well, no, we only said 10% here.
Guaranteed that, 50, you know, whatever the number may be, that's the, you got a guarantee, doesn't matter if there's some catastrophic event. They're guaranteed this much from this revenue. And I hate calling taxes revenue. but-
Yeah. I don't know. I don't agree with it.
There's a reason that we have a contingency and we're not, and we keep a certain amount of contingency. That's for catastrophes.
Sure.
And there, you know, that's why we don't spend our extra money.
This is accountability, that's letting people know, hey, you're guaranteed this much money is going to this department, this much money is going to this department, no matter what.
I don't agree with that statement.
But if you're getting,
But
my question, if you say you're getting an extra. But let's just round it up to $4 million. But you really can only raise it, the percentage of the taxes at 3.5%. So you're really not getting an extra $4 million in your budget. So when you say, well, the 10% ain't really 10% of 4 million. Okay, let's say you did say 10% for the fire department, it wouldn't be 10% of 4 million, it's gonna be 10% of whatever you can raise that tax out at the 3.5%. So we're not really talking, yes, the 3.5, I mean, 4 million is coming into the county, but then you're lowering your tax rate on your property tax down, but you're getting an extra 3.5% total in your budget. So you're not really talking that you're getting an extra $4 million to work with.
That's correct.
You might probably get more like an extra, what you say, 800 or 900,000 total to work with. But you are essentially lowering the property tax.
if we put it into the general fund,
And we have.
but
Yes.
if we don't put it in the general fund, You get 4 million.
But then what can you use it for?
Yeah, how do you spend it?
How you spend it?
Those specific.
Those specific things, the roads, the first responders and the public infrastructure.
Oh, so if you just use it for just that, you can get the whole.
Yeah. If it's in a separate, if it's not in the general fund.
Now you're saying, we're not gonna lower the property tax.
Exactly.
We're gonna,
Right, we're
so
gonna,
I think voters don't wanna know, I mean, I am.
you can't say
I
both.
can't vote, but I'm gonna push it one way or the other. If you're not gonna lower our taxes a little bit. Well, what do we care?
That's exactly what I was sitting there thinking, cause if you put it over here, yes, you benefit.
You can't use that money though.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, you can't use the money that's in escrow. But
Then why you got all that money in escrow? What are you gonna do with that later?
next year, when the budget time comes around, you have to lower your property tax rate to incorporate that money into your budget.
So you're gonna have to lower.
You have to lower the
tax all
property tax
year.
rate. If your sales tax continues to rise, you have to lower your ad valorem rates so that you do not increase
Okay,
above
just make
3.5%.
sure.
But the issue is you can set the percentage rates on the CAD, and you can stick with those because the Commissioners Court still has the ability to adjust the amount of money, just like we did this last year, going to this department or that department, or whatever the case may be. So you don't have to, you can set the percentage rates however you need to, and with everybody's agreement, you can modify those. If you come up and you say, you know what, we've decided, for example, we set a hospital district, 20 years ago, and it was never formed. And then this last year, we eliminated that. But that hospital district could have been collecting money, and it did have some money in it, and that money was. It was put into but that hospital district could have started raising, some tax funds associated with it, just like the community college district does. So you have options. There are things that can be done, and you can set those percentages, and then the Commissioners Court on the general revenue that comes in can adjust how that's being used.
And I don't think we're not gonna find an answer. I mean, you can already tell we're arguing about percentages, all right. 50% is gonna agree. It's gonna be one where half agree, half don't agree. Because I won't promise. I would almost promise that precinct 3 wants 100% of it to go to roads. And precinct 4 would not. So whatever happens if we do a percent to people or we don't, some people are going to be happy, some people are going to be not. But I wish we just see the big picture, how this is more money without increasing property taxes, more revenue coming through that other people are paying it besides Van Zandt County residents, and it's not through property taxes. That's the big picture. The little things will get worked out.
Thing to me is I think that we're kind of, if we don't do this, then we're just throwing that money out there that the state's already taken, and they're putting it in their reserve over here, and we're not gonna get it back. If we wait another year, we will not get whatever we paid to them back.
It's $4 million we'll get to the
And
state.
whether it go, and these guys, there's firemen here talking. I had over 35 years in the volunteer fire department. Yeah, I'd have liked to see more money every day come in. We never was a ESD. We survived. We made it. We done good. It wasn't easy, but we did it. And I think that this putting a percentage to you, I understand that. I'd like to see that too. But I think that right now, I'm not saying that we're not gonna do that, but right now, the main focus is to get the people educated. Yeah, you may be right. It may be easier to educate with them percentages and all. But at the same time, I feel like that it could come back and bite us if we're not careful. And I just think that we're throwing money away if we don't do this. I really believe it.
The reason I made that comment is I believe there's general consensus, not just in Van Zandt County, statewide, nationwide, the government misuses tax revenue.
Oh, I know they do. They got it set up
So
for
misrepresentation, and we just say we need to pass this, without giving everyone an idea of exactly what you're gonna do with the money.
We've said what we're gonna do with it,
I understand that.
roads, whatever the three are.
I understand that.
You know, he's right. We've said what we're gonna do with it. We just haven't told what kind of percentage, because I think that's up to that board. And I do not believe that a commissioner should be on that board.
No,
I do not believe that there should be one on the board. I'm with Brandon. I think a fireman, a law officer, you know, well, the general public, I think is what it needs to be made up of. Now, it is gonna have to come back before the commissioners, you know, to rule on it. I guess you'd say that might not be the correct word, but to make the final decision. But I would hope that the commissioners that are on in at that time would respect that board's opinion.
and we can fight about the little stuff there, and that's perfectly fine. That's what we're here for. But I've said it 3 times. Look at the big picture, because that wasn't a scare tactic when I was talking about the state does not want us to do this. Now, it may be next year, it may be 3 years from now. I don't know how long it's going to be, but they are trying to get to where counties cannot do this. So our time is limited on this, and if we don't get this done, just like Bobby said, we're losing $4 million. Going to 3 things. Now, how it's percentage, we can figure that out later. But let's get the big picture done.
Brandon, you mentioned that you went around businesses and found out, you know, a sample that were collecting and those that weren't. So those that aren't, will they be?
Yes, they will go up to 8. If it passes, they will be forced to go to 8 1/4. Yeah, basically the whole, well, depends on how we vote for it. But say we vote for it as countywide, the whole county will be 8 1/4%, except for maybe your ESDs that they got carved out.
Which is why it has to be representative of the tax increase, because the end user is the consumer.
Yes,
So they will have tax increase.
it's a tax increase for 30% of your businesses, but they're 70% already paying it.
Well, it's not an increase to the businesses.
Right.
It's
Yeah, it's a tax increase for 30% of the businesses that we go to,
Right.
and we're already paying it at 70%.
It could make us pay 30% at 30, or it could make us pay 2% more at 30% of the places we shop. But I would hope that the pass-throughers would make that difference up for
For
us.
the end user. So
Yes.
the end user is the consumer.
Right,
That's where the tax goes.
right.
All right, any further discussion?
And most of the people that are passing through will not be affected by that though. Because it's in the city of Kenton, all these truck stops, city vans, truck stop. What first Monday? I mean, I don't know. I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing. I think it's like a lot of things that we do, there's an open end to it that we don't know. There's a lot of things we don't know.
What if
How-
we get,
But the things that we do know probably outweigh the things that we don't know.
and if we get infrastructure on the interstate, like right now, just take big Tex trailers. How many people do they sell trailers to in Van Zandt County? Probably not very many. They're all going out of state and out of county. There's people from Boston, Massachusetts paying us taxes now. I mean, businesses like that we don't go to, that they, you know, they're nationwide. Door Control, same way. We don't buy from Door Control, but they sell nationwide. They sell worldwide actually, and they'll be paying us. The customer.
No, that's not correct.
You know, that little truck stop over by Colfax off 20, I can tell you that thing is always packed.
Yeah.
And those are people traveling through, not in the city, like that, and I mean, it's always packed. 18-wheelers and people just coming in and out of it.
You call it Colfax? She said.
Colfax.
Okay.
I've been mispronouncing that.
So
all my life.
what is our next step? Here, we have 2 months basically to get this all packaged up.
I think we need y'all's help, if y'all are for it, to spread the word. And I believe Keegan has a group. Keegan will speak on this. We've got a little committee that's gonna go around and do town halls and try to educate people.
Slowly adding to the group, because education is, like I said, is absolute key. We have till August to bring the order before the commissioner's court to be put on the ballot. Now, that order has to have the exhibits attached to it. You have 2 months to get all your addresses put in, talk with your ESCs, talk with your cities, make all the right decisions. We're behind. We gotta get moving with this. You know, like personally, I agree with fire departments to a point. I like to see something done with juvenile. I like to see it animal control be created. I would like to maybe put together a packet of why I think that should have something done. Not say, I want 5%, I want 10%, and it has to be done now because I've had half my flock massacred before I go to work by the neighbor's dog. I would like to maybe put something together to prove why I might need some of that money to go to that creation. Just about.
But I don't think we need to do that yet. We need to educate the people
Yeah,
on the
that's
big
later on.
picture.
That's later on. Like, you can't even create a board until after it passes. And that's from the comptroller.
So that's what we're asking from y'all. Help. We need help from y'all.
You guys don't have to make a decision, to do the election.
We have to work out the details before we
Yeah.
take it to the election.
That's correct, but we need help educating the people, and we can do that right now.
But we can't educate the people.
We can't.
No,
They can.
no,
Or we can
till-
educate
till
them, we
we
can't
know what
promote
the
it.
process is gonna be, until the details are worked out. We gotta work out the details, then get educate the people.
Yeah.
I just wonder how many of y'all are clear as mud on this, like, are you clear? Is
Clear
it-
as mud to me. I'm already painted and we're not seeing any money.
You're very vocal, Becky.
That's-
It's the big picture. That's all you gotta educate them. with.
I'm just, I'm asking if it's clear to, I'm just like, is it clear? Like, is it pretty clear to everybody? Okay, all right.
Would anybody be against it?
I might be just to be the odd man out. I'm just messing with you.
We can count on them.
I mean, honestly, do y'all think this is a good thing?
I think a consumption tax is the only thing that makes sense here.
I'm 80% on, I've got some questions, but I don't think we're moving in this in the wrong direction. Got some questions, sorry.
Yeah, I'd like to see a consumption tax and do away with property taxes, but that's, I'll probably be an old man before that happens. I think
That's what we do. We just need help. Help educating the public.
Oh, first thing you gotta get going about.
All right,
Get the wording done.
yeah, we need it,
There are flyers here on the front. Want to take some and pass them out.
well, we still haven't decided what the next step is gonna be. Yes, an election, but we gotta get all the details worked out for the election. So what is the commissioner court gonna do in order to do that?
I guess we'll work out the details.
Are we going to do it in a workshop? Are we gonna make it an agenda item on
I don't think we need to wait 2 weeks to another court. I mean, if we can have a workshop next week or something, I mean, like Keegan said, we gotta get this thing going.
I thought we had workshops next week. We just added one new.
But it's been 3 years of culmination of getting this stuff done, and we finally got it.
It's gonna take a lot of work to get the mapping done.
Right, I think one of the biggest issues that you're gonna run into is for people, like, I'm not saying that I specifically have that concern about percentages. I understand what you're saying, you don't want to pigeonhole yourself to a point where maybe 1 year you need to move it here for good reason and so on and so forth. But for the people that are not gonna understand this, they might want more transparency. But you understand what I'm saying? I'm not saying that that's the way it has to go. That's something that y'all need to figure out. If y'all want to, propose that with percentages or not, because you're leaving a big gap for people to go explain it to their neighbor. And then go like, okay, well, what does that mean for, you know what I mean? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. And I guess my rebuttal to that would be, I agree with we have to, the people need to know where the money's going.
Yes.
But we get it passed. There's the money. We have the board. Okay, we collected $4 million this year. 3 million went to roads, 200,000 went to this, and we break it down and we tell the public how it went. So I agree with telling the public where this money went. I'm just trying to get that.
No, you have to tell the public where it's going to go up front, not after the fact.
No.
So that's what I'm saying.
But is that not
Again,
what-
I understand the logic behind what I do, and as long as everybody's on board and it goes well, that's flawless, but in the event that it doesn't, you know, people that ask questions about taxes, like, oh, no, he was saying, you know, it's. People are fighting about their tax money, so.
We'll work on it. We'll get a workshop and we'll.
All right, let's take a 10-minute recess and we'll be back at 10:22. You bet.
Oh, I got.
How you wanna talk sometime, Jeremy? We'll talk about it sometime? I'll try to get hold of it. I'll put it on. Quickly.
All right. See ya.
Girl, I'm hard as a big ton of thing, but. I'll pull see and basically.
Please.
I was crossing this out.
You guys do.
There's still a lot to learn.
I was gonna say hello to her.
So I banks go, everything goes with our water. So what's the answer?
Look out West Texas, we were get you out. Yeah, look at the things here. What region?
Alright, what you saying, so if we, now we baseball, banks. Within that, so now it's done all that. I'm sure. We got 2 things to you.
I don't know what the answer is. I'm just putting up dress up inside. If they're gonna find it. Fine. Hey, how's it going? Okay. Well, what? This thing, they go, yeah, don't have to that, there's a. Well, I'll get you. That's not. Go to, one year. Sure. It's already dropped. It's always a kid. One year they had water. I across money, you pay to switch me, but I'm not sure. Happen when they get a bunch of size stuff. I've got a thing in the house of words. Now, good as 1,000 birds or less, citizen board. They kind of like the idea. This is what it's gonna be. That's right. The candle that show things.
Yes, sir. He did indeed. He did indeed.
Because me and you will disagree. Maybe not me and you, our precincts will.
I have never. Yeah.
If I'm educated by November.
I forgot.
Cody, I'll move it up next. So you can be done.
Thank you so much.
We're gonna go to 7. Got to do that.
Is that another workshop back there?
No.
Well, yeah, but I'd rather end the day, you know.
I guess it could have,
Okay.
I want to have a big year one year and real small year next year, like low their tax rate, then it's good.
All right, I'm calling this meeting back into order at 10:22. And we are going to go to item number 7 so that Mr. Brantley can is here for that, so that he can leave after that. So item number 7, discuss, consider approval of the Windy Hill subdivision plat located Van Zandt County Road 4607 and precinct 4.
That's mine.
Okay.
So tier 2, 2 lots. He's turned everything in, met all the regulations, did everything he's supposed to, so I'll make the motion to approve Windy Hill subdivision plat on Van Zandt County Road 4607.
A second.
All right, motion been made, second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Pose like sign. Motion passes. We didn't even need you. All right, now we will go back to the beginning, the top. Discuss and consider proclaiming June 14th as Flag Day and the week starting June 7th, 2026 as Flag Week. And where is it? I have the resolution right here. Flag Day proclamation on June 14th, 1777, Congress issued a proclamation adopting the flag of the United States of America. And whereas June 14th was officially designated by Congress as Flag Day in 1949, and the week containing June 14th as National Flag Week designated in 1969, whereas the President of the United States signs a proclamation each year recognizing Flag Day and National Flag Week, and whereas it's fitting and proper to show our honor and respect for the flag of the United States of America as America celebrates its 250th anniversary. Now therefore, I judge in your reasons by virtue of authority vested in me as the county judge of Van County, do hereby proclaim June 14th and June 14th through June 20th as Flag Day and National Flag Week. Encourage all citizens to observe Flag Day and National Flag Week by displaying the American flag. That's the proclamation. Who was it that sent this to us?
Sherry Archer, she was here.
Okay.
She had,
Okay.
I'll motion.
All right. Motion been made by Commissioner Barton. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made second. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Pose like sign. Motion passes. All right, now we're on to another workshop. Discuss health insurance renewal presented by TAC Wellness Consultant Michelle Gifford, TAC Employee Benefits Specialist Rashawn Collins, and Deanne Miller with Hibbs Hallmark. Excuse me.
I will tell you that, this is an abbreviated version of what y'all have. So we shortened it for timing the citizen.
Morning, Judge and Commissioners. Today, we are here to discuss our renewal of our health insurance for county employees. This is something very near and dear to my heart as being the HR director. Our benefits are one of our medical benefits, are one of our biggest driving points to recruit and maintain employees, along with all the healthy county benefits that we get to go with them. We have a plan that is grandfathered that provides us with a deductible that all of our employees can afford, a copay that they can afford, an out-of-pocket maximum that they can afford, with guarantee when we stay in this plan that they can plan for that year to year. And my hope is that when the presentation is done, that you all understand and agree that we need to stay in something that we can show our people, whether it may cost us a little bit more, it's something that we can always provide to them and let them have affordable, good health care. And with that, I'm gonna pass on. I will say I was told when I went through my interview board and got hired by multiple different members of the court at different times, that I must always lobby to protect our employees, because many years ago, the court made a decision and went out of this and went with someone totally different rather than with that. And two members of the court went down there to them, to their main office, and begged to get back in a program to take care of our employees after 1 year of doing it. And so it's near and dear to my heart, the employees are near and dear to my heart, and it's something that I think is very important to do. to keep our employees. Something they know they can afford to, if you can afford healthcare. I'm gonna turn it over to the specialist, advocate.
All right, so glad to just provide a little bit of information and insight to the plan benefits that Zandt County has. So what you gentlemen have in front of you is the 2026-27 renewal notice. We started at the very top where it says medical. This is really showing your plan. That G2 that you see after the 1100, that means you have a grandfather plan. I do want to go over before we talk about the numbers, why a grandfather plan is very beneficial to Van Zandt County and to many of our groups within TAC that have it. The first thing, it does have lower relative premiums, so your grandfather plans are not required to include all the ACA mandates. Secondly, it does have stable employer contributions, so you cannot drastically reduce how much the contribution is toward the premium. And that can't be lowered by more than 5%. Without losing that grandfather status. So anything above 5%, you would lose grandfather status with that. And then the third thing is the exemption from the ACA mandates. So these plans don't offer the free preventative healthcare services that are normally with a non-grandfather plan or traditional ACA or employer plans. Just certain screenings would be applicable to that, but not to preventive care. And it does not have a cap to the out-of-pocket maximum at the level set by the federal government as well. So following some government things like that, this is why the grandfather plan is beneficial to your county currently, along with the cost adjustment mentioned. If we look at the rate change back to the renewal notice, Van Zandt County is receiving an 8.5% renewal rate. That does come in lower than what the full needed amount was that the TAC Health and Family Benefits Board approved, which is 9.9%. So you are coming in lower than that, which is really good. So effectively for your employees, the new rate starting October 1, 2027 will be $1,003.82. If they were to add a spouse, it's going to be $2,105.10. Employee and children is $1,596.52, and employee and family will be $2,697.86 for the new rate for 2026-2027. Again, starting October 1st. So essentially, what I want you to go to on that next page is on that last page are your alternate plans that are available as well. So we did provide Van Zandt County with 3 alternate plan options, all with different renewal contributions, and the rate for each plan. Again, being that the grandfather plan is what you currently have, even though you're getting a rate increase, keeping that grandfather status is very important to you guys, which I understand. So the plan options that would be available that are comparable are all non-grandfather plans. So those plans do include the preventive care benefit, which would have a $0 copay. But if we look at this first plan under option 1, this plan 1200, where it would be $1,023.20. The deductible goes down to $1,000 from $1,030, but the maximum out of pocket also goes down. Excuse me, 1 second. Yeah, maximum out of pocket goes down to $3,000. But the benefit here is the office visits don't change, so the office visit would still be $30. So essentially, by keeping your current plan, you're still going to pay $30 for preventive care. If you go in and decide to make a plan change, it will be $0 for the preventive care. Still, your office visit, specialist visit will be $30 to see a doctor or any type of specialist. Same thing, plan 2, that deductible goes up to $1,500, which is a little more than the $1,030. The maximum out of pocket goes to $3,500. And the plan 3, same thing, even though those option 2 and option 3 have a little less contribution. That deductible is $2,000 with a max out of pocket of $4,000. And the office visit on that option 3 plan 1,400 goes to $35. Also noticing that the emergency room would increase by $15 from $135 to $150.
with each of those plans as well. So depending on that selection, if you chose to make a plan change, there would be some increases there. But I think the most beneficial thing, even with the rate increase, is that you're keeping your grandfather status. Yes, go ahead.
If you lose your grandfather status, you cannot get it back. What happens to the plans that are Affordable Care Act, was signed into law in 2010 and incorporated year after year, and what I have seen in the marketplace is those low max out of pockets, which is your financial safety cap, go to $8,000 and $10,000. And the premium is higher, your co-pays are higher, and you cannot control it. The only way you control this is in the grand.
Good story.
I mean, our goal really is to steer employees to the right for care.
And you were just saying public education, and we would wanna do the same for your employees, so education, where to go for care, like that.
Yeah, where to go for care is very important amongst all of our groups. We have nearly 50,000 members to over 230 counties and district entities within TAC. So what we try to do year over year with TAC, and this is the first year they've provided a double-digit increase, is we want to keep those costs low, but we also have to understand what the outside market is doing as well. There are renewal rates in the outside market that are upwards of 75% on the open market for this year. And a lot of that has to do with the cost of care and inflation. It also has a lot to do with the providers, doctors, and hospitals moving between those carrier networks as well. So that drives costs because, as you know, doctors may be looking to get more money. So you see your copay, but those doctors are looking at what I bill versus what is my contract say. So a lot of those things have driven costs up by a lot of that movement as well. And the drugs, prescription drug costs have gone up as well. Which is why with Navitus, we do have our formulary, which you guys have that 3-tier plan with them as well. So we want to keep costs down, and we did eliminate 4 pharmacies this plan year that saved overall $6 million for the entire pool. Those 4 pharmacies that were taken out were CVS, Albertsons, Kroger, and United. So again, saving $6 million for the entire pool is great. But we want to also make sure that we drive people to proper places for care, that people aren't going to the emergency room for primary care or prescription refills, but they actually are seeing a doctor. So going to urgent care, primary care, their specialists, the proper care for those things. Any questions on the renewal? I know I covered a lot of information that short time.
No, sir.
No questions? All right.
But basically, any change, we can't change anything in our current plan and still remain grandfathered. Is that what you're saying?
Correct. You want to keep the grandfather status, you don't have to change anything on this plan itself. This is just a renewal, showing you what your current plan is, what the renewal rate is, and what the new rate will be along with those alternate plans. But as long as you're not making any changes, we just need to receive this back by June 26th. And we'll get everything going for the new plan year 2026, 2027.
The grandfather premium will affect the remaining, we need that.
Yeah, so there's no keep up the deductible or anything like that. So it's as it is, which this is the plan that you have currently, it's gonna remain the same moving forward. October 1. So for the plan year.
And I will say that in the marketplace, which I deal with on more of a regular basis, the renewal often is at 25+% on a traditional plan, and I have seen the insurance companies, like when you get out of that grandfather plan, your plan looks okay this year, but then next year, there may not be any copay for the drug. Maybe it's constantly juggling when that happens. And you know, the drug formulary, they can switch you on the drug formulary to even a more narrow drug formulary. So once this plan may look okay, Affordable Care Act may look okay, but we have no idea what will happen year after year. And I can tell you because I've been watching it since 2014.
That it?
That's it.
All right. So I would like to point out that the increase we had last year was roughly $720 a year per employee, a total to the county $140,000 that we paid to maintain and we were at a little over $11,000 a year per employee for health insurance. This year, it will increase by $936 per employee. And that will be an increase in our budget of $182,000 and to maintain the same level, to maintain the grandfather plan. So I'm just saying, and again, saying it's 8% increase. You know, so it's either going to be coming out of the new revenue that we get, or because it can all come out of the 3.5%, or it just. So it
Can
can't
it be
be.
safe to say it's 8.5% increase? That's just this. Then everything else that we have to deal with is about probably the same 8.5% increase. And it goes back to what do we get? 3.5% increase. So
We just have to be more efficient.
yep, it's tough. You gotta make it work though. Because everybody raises it more than 1 week.
All right. So we will address it, what we will plan to do in one of our workshops, budget workshops.
You know, a lot of times I know that, not always, but some of our employees, they almost demand more money. Don't realize what what they're getting in insurance with us.
Right. It's $1,000 a month
It's a lot.
that we're paying for that.
And
It is a fantastic plan. It is a great plan. And it is a selling point. Yes, that we can help get new employees, and I think it helps us retain employees too. Okay, all right. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Are you happy, Jessica?
I'm going to, we're gonna make a decision today.
No. We're gonna have a budget workshop. We're gonna make a decision, yes. We're gonna approve it at the next commission report meeting. It should be, well, it'll be before the budget workshops, so I don't know.
it has to be done for 26, right?
And what happened? And if it isn't?
We incur additional fees, right?
You could incur additional fees, delays in ID cards, things like that. So once it's in by the end of business on June 26th, then it'll.
For a plan that comes effective October 1st.
Yes, that gives us time to get the data and enter into the Blue Cross Blue Shield system, into our system as well. So we want to make sure that if you have new employees leaving, we're able to update all of that information.
Okay, very good.
We get all new guys every year. This is specific to Nancy County, not just one insurance. This is specific for everything that we have. And all these things that we run with.
Just to answer your question, Jessica's happy for now.
Yeah.
I'm always happy. I just.
Until she wants something.
All right.
I'm jolly.
She wants something.
All right, item number 6, not to cut Jessica off, but
I appreciate all of them very much.
is discuss and consider authorizing county judge to sign a lease agreement with Emergency Service District 3 for facilities located at 24630 State Highway 64 Suite A for use by the tax assessor, collector, and fire marshal. This was on last commissioner court meeting. We tabled it so that Brandon can do some talking.
Okay, well, we won. We had a win-win, I guess you could say. I got it down to $16.50 a month instead of $17.50. And they got to where it's gonna go up $100 per month. Or $100 a month every, how do I say this?
Renewal.
Renewal, it's gonna renew $100 for the
Every
next
year.
year.
Every year.
So this year it's $16.50. In 2027, starting in August, it'll be $17.50. The next year, $18.50, 19, and so on until we get them out of there. So they have a $100 increase every year at the renewal, and it's gonna be $16.50 for this year. And I think it was fair to begin with, and I appreciate Sue and Dustin meeting with me. And I think we came to a pretty fair agreement with what we're getting. So I motion to approve the lease.
So we're agreeing to something that forces us in a few years to get out of there. We have to get out of it.
Huh,
You don't have to, you can just keep on
Just keep
paying,
going up.
but
it's still a very reasonable rate.
we
Right.
basically, it was 1750 for this year. I renegotiated to 1650, so basically we just bought ourselves 2 years.
Yes.
So the motion is made. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All's in favor, say aye. Pose like sign.
I'm I'm for it. I'm for it.
Okay, we didn't hear you, but.
Yeah.
All right, now we will go to item number 8. And that is discuss and consider a resolution approving the formation and participation in a sub-regional planning commission with Smith County pursuant to Texas Local Government Code, Chapter 391.
We already did 7.
We went and did it earlier.
2 lines.
Yeah, we already did. So, all right, yesterday, Smith County Commissioner Court met and we spent 2 hours discussing this. The first hour was presentation by David Cleland with the EDCOG on how EDCOG works. And then the second hour was a discussion on the 391. I was very proud of the residents that showed up from Van Zandt County and spoke publicly about this in favor of it. And there were several from Smith County that spoke favorably for it. The discussion ensued was about whether or not the EDCOG could perform this function better than a sub-regional. EDCOG is actually formed under the 391, same section of code, 391, except they're the regional, and what we're looking at is forming a sub-regional, which means within the region. And so that discussion was held, and it was felt that the EDCOG could do this, and it would not cost the counties anything. There was discussion about what the cost for the administration of a 391 would be, and the expertise or the relationships that have already been established by EDCOG with some of these entities that the sub-regional would try to be meeting with. And it felt like that, anyway, the vote was 2-2. And because one commissioner was absent, then it failed because there was no clear margin of victory in that regard. So Smith County is not going to move forward with a sub-regional planning commission with Van Zandt County. Therefore, there is no action to be taken on this item.
Are they not gonna have another meeting when they're all 5 there to have a consensus vote?
No, they chose not to do that. They could have tabled it if they wanted to do that, but they chose not to. It would have been the same result most likely. So in that regard.
Did, when he was speaking yesterday, did he give the telephone number that citizens in Smith County and Van Zandt County could call to give them their requests related to information that East Texas Council of Governments needs to pursue related to, say, Fish and Wildlife or any of these other agencies, Public Utilities Commission, ERCOT, related to the things that that this 391 sub was supposed to be pursuing? Did he give any information for how to reach them and how citizens could pursue the information that the 391 was going to pursue?
There was conversations asked, information requested from EDCOG about the ability to make public requests and about attend and make public comments in their meetings. And the executive director, David Cleveland, talked about, when the executive committee meetings were, there is a time available for public comment at the beginning of the meeting, and that people can come and make their comments there. And I failed to mention too that the scope of the resolution was narrowed down for this particular meeting, and from being for the sub-regional planning commission to focus strictly on green energy projects such as solar, wind farms, BESS facilities, and other green energy projects. It was narrowed down to that focus because I felt like that one of the criticisms earlier was that it was too broad in the original concept, and that by focus narrowing it down, you have a better focus on that. But it didn't really matter because they didn't pass it. So, any further discussion? I was for anybody that wants to understand how 391 works and how EDCOG works, that would be a great video to watch. Would be the commissioner court meeting. Again, it was 2 hours long, but it really, there was a lot of very good questions asked that helped explain what was going on. So anyway, with that, we will move on to the next.
Number 8, what is your?
No action. And number 9, the same, no action, because there's no need. Number 9 is to appoint board members to the sub-regional planning commission. And so there's no action there. Our intent is to continue looking for another county that would desire to do its chapter 391, because it is my intent. I agree. I serve on the executive board of EDCOG, and I know how they work, and I agree they would make a great entity to deal with some of the things that we're dealing with. But I don't feel like that, as with any kind of government agency, it's going to take too long to get to where we need. We have immediate needs right now, and it's much better, I feel like, that we can do it small. When we do it 2 counties and basically two commissioners from each county, you got 4 people that are meeting and discussing things, and that's a whole lot simpler and easier to get a resolution and stuff. Now, whether or not you can get any action from the government agencies, we don't know. We'll find out in that regard. So item number 9 is no action also. Item number 10, discuss, consider a resolution regarding a contract for the purpose of financing a 2016 CAT reclaimer RM 500B, serial number MB 900124.
Yes, Judge, this is mine. I'm trying to purchase this to better our redoing roads. I think the reclaimer I have is about a 1980 model, and we work on it as much as we use it. But the financing of it is $255,000 is the cost of it. And I'm asking the court's blessing on getting this financed.
Is that your motion?
Yeah. Make that
Your
motion.
blessing instead of a motion?
Yeah. Come on now. I'll make that motion.
Can I say something, or is it open for discussion?
Okay, we have a motion, but yes, you can still say something before we
I
have a
just-
second.
I want to commend Bobby for the work that he's done. He put the effort is definitely there. And you can tell he's putting out some effort in precinct 3.
So
That's your second?
are you willing to second it then?
I'll second that.
Okay.
Thank you, babe.
Motion,
blessed.
I got blessed.
motion made and seconded. Do you get that, Susan?
Yeah.
Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, motion passes. Item number 11, discuss, consider the down payment regarding 2016 CAT reclaimer RM 500B, serial number MB 900124.
Yeah, this is mine again. I've chosen to put 25,000 down on this machine and finance 200 and what would it be, 30? I guess I'm making a motion that y'all allow me to do that.
So you just have 25 this year, and then the payments in the future.
The payments will be around 50, 55.
Okay,
How many years?
I'm doing it for 5 years. And I was hesitant about that because I hate to leave a payment for an incoming commissioner if I was to not win it back, but I've had discussed that with several people and they said, well, at least the incoming commissioner would have some good equipment to work with.
And equity to sell it if he wants to.
Yes,
So,
yes.
Is it, so can I just ask a question?
No,
I just.
ask.
Yeah, I'm just asking you the question. I'm just trying to be polite. You know, it's not. Anyways, is it necessary for him to come before the court to buy stuff out? I'm just asking. I know why I've already talked to him about it, but like, is it necessary to come before the court if he's got it in his line item budget to purchase equipment?
That would be an auditor question. I think it's prudent to do
We have-
so.
we
If
have
you're
one.
talking especially this amount of money.
I thought, and this may not be the correct word, but I just think it's respect for the commissioner's court, for the court, that I bring it to y'all and y'all approve what I'm doing.
Is it, Ben, is it necessary?
Sorry, I was talking. What was the question?
You interrupting our court?
It's upstairs.
Yes.
It is to go through court with capital expenditures like that. It's necessary, even if you have it on a line item.
You have to get commissioner court approval for me to sign the agreement.
Yeah,
So what is the cutoff like? I mean,
Or whatever financing agreement.
okay, so if it's financing, you have to, but if it's not financing, you don't have to?
I don't think you do because you got your line item.
right. Yeah.
But even, I think there's not a number to it, but something with this amount, I think it should go to court.
I think that it should.
I was just simply asking if it was, I was asking for the legality of it. Is that procedurally legal or illegal? If it's in my line item budget and I don't have to finance it, can I buy a piece of equipment without the court's approval?
I think you can, yes.
We get a second?
We haven't got, who,
I made the motion.
all right,
I guess I can.
all right. Motion been made by Commissioner Phillips. Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Commissioner Curtis, seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, motion passes. Item number 12, consent agenda. These are items that are considered routine by the Commissioners Court and enacted by one motion. There's no separate discussion on these items unless the county judge or commissioner requests an item be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. Do any items need to be removed and considered separately? If not, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion.
Is there a second? Motion made, second. All those in favor say aye.
I did.
Oh, yeah. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, motion passes. Moves us to item number 13, workshop, discuss current county participation in the celebration of America's 250th birthday, which will be celebrated on July 4, 2026, marking the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence in 1776. And I just wanted to put it out there, you know, if we do nothing more than a resolution, that'd be great. We do have some money in the economic development that could be used if we wanted, if there was any other items. We have until next, basically one more commissioner court meeting before July 4th to see if you want to move forward with anything, have any ideas. The city of Canton is doing a special with their fireworks they do every year. I think they're really beefing it up in that regard. That's what got me in thinking about it. Can't want to do anything. Is there any comments, considerations? If nothing else, I'll do a resolution for the next commissioner court meeting.
I think based on my review here, we're meeting the 17th. And
Right.
Do we not meet on the 1st?
Yes, we will.
Okay, okay. So is it something that, I mean, I hadn't given a considerable amount of thought to it. I don't know if anybody else Do we know how much money's in economic development related to?
Available to us is $4,000.
Is there any, is it possible that we could partner with the city of Canton or, you know, and maybe boost what they're doing? Is, I don't know if anybody
It's
thought
possible.
about that.
I don't know that they would have to make it on their agenda. Well, I'll talk to the city council and see. If
you have any thought into it?
Yeah.
you got the Christmas parade
Mm-hmm.
and the watermelon eating contest, which don't you officiate?
And the bicycle decorating contest.
Bicycle
And the parade,
Okay, and the parade. So,
all that's in the morning hours on July.
all right. So obviously, there's nothing that you right off the top of your mind. I'll just put it in your mind and let you discuss or think about it and for something to put on the next commissioner or agenda. If we want to contribute or we just want to do a resolution.
Okay.
I'll have the resolution ready. All right, so that ends that workshop and now we will move at 10:58 into a closed executive session in compliance with section 551.089 of the Texas Government Code to deliberate security assessments or deployments related to information resources technology, network security information as described by section 2059.0055 sub B or deployment or specific occasions for implementation of security personnel, critical infrastructure, or security devices. And so that is the executive session that we will be discussing. And I will now ask that you clear the courtroom. So
Give me 5 minutes.
we'll be back here at